So for my birthday, my buddy Kevin, shout out Kevin down at the butcher shop, he had sent me a little care package. He sent me these steaks. I don't know what grade of steak it was. I don't know if it was Australian Wagyu, Japanese Wagyu, whatever. So he sent like a ribeye and a strip. And when I tell you these steaks, I don't know if I could cook a better steak.
Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed. I'm joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell, and Tyler's over here running the controls. What's up? What's up? Man, what a week of football. That was awesome.
Is that what you want to talk
That's
about?
what I want to start with. Man, college football was amazing. Look at the Vikings sitting there 5-0. They went over across the daggum sea, won a game, got a head coach fired. They told him, don't even worry about coming back to the New York Jets. You can just stay over there. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we roll.
That's because of the
Defense
Vikings.
is strong. I never saw this coming. I'm pumped. I almost wore my Vikings shirt today. I was like, no, that'll be too much. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till see if my man Hawkinson comes back after this bye week.
Okay, so let's say they continue.
It's a lot to unpack, ain't it?
let's say they continue on. Are you going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Absolutely. I don't know if I'll get in, but why not go to New? I'm taking Michael too. I told him that was our deal. If the Vikings ever make it, we're going.
I think we have a hookup in New Orleans, though. So.
Yeah, you know what? We know a little company that does a little something with some mayonnaise down there.
The best mayonnaise on the planet.
I'm going to have to pull all my strings. Just like I'll be talking about blue plate mayonnaise the rest of my life if they let me go to the Super Bowl. I don't even know if they got tickets or anything. They do stuff with the Saints. I think they're like the official mayonnaise of the New Orleans Saints.
They are, yeah. And the official mayonnaise of Po' Boys.
Of Po' Boys? Just all Po' Boys?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too. Is it really a po' boy if it's not from like the state of Louisiana? I don't know.
I don't know. You've made some.
I call them po' boys, but yeah, I call them po' boys. But is it really the real deal if it's not from down there? There's something about those New Orleans po' boys hit different.
It's the rolls, I think.
It's the bread. Yeah, it's the bread.
They have
and the
best bread because it's crisp. It's like crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside, and the flavor. It's
called Gambino bread, right?
Yeah. There's different.
Yeah, there's different ones. There's one that starts with an L.
Liedenheimers or something like that.
That's right.
But I guess there's several bakeries down there, and that's where most of the people get their fresh po' boy bread delivered. Oh man, there's a place called the Bourbon House down there. It's right off Bourbon Street. It's attached to a hotel, but they give you a little loaf of po' boy bread. But they also do a barbecue shrimp po' boy where it's like they hollow it out and they stuff the barbecue shrimp from the top. Oh, it's so freaking good.
And it's all it's a Mexican
It's not like
sandwich.
a fried shrimp. It's a New Orleans barbecue shrimp stuffed in a po' boy loaf.
Wow.
And it's hot and fresh. And it's so good.
It's like juice dripping down your elbows.
Which one? So do you like a fried like seafood po' boy or do you like because that pot roast debris po' boy? God, that's so good too.
I like a fried crawfish po' boy or a fried oyster.
You like the combo.
I do
half
like
and half.
to mix them. But it's got to be, good. You got to have the good bread.
Yeah,
you got to have the blue plate. You got to.
There's a place down there by City Park. I can't remember the name of it. They have got phenomenal there's so many great places to get po'.
Are you talking about Killer Po' Boys?
Killer Po' Boys is good.
Yeah, they do unique po' boys, like outside the box po' boys.
When we went down there, we ate at Parkway Bakery, I think is what it's
Is that
called.
by City Park? That might be the one by City Park.
It's been there since like 1912.
Yeah, that's probably it.
And they had an awesome debris po' boy.
Yeah, we had that at Hogs for the Cause one year. They went and got a bunch of different ones and brought them out there. Oh, it was phenomenal.
So good.
I'd like to get back down to Hogs for the Cause. That's a big barbecue contest that's done to raise money for
pediatric brain cancer.
Yeah, pediatric brain cancer, and they raise millions.
Oh yeah, they raise it year round, and that's kind of like the cumulative. It all comes down to that Hogs for the Cause barbecue contest.
Because part of your scoring to see who wins grand champion has
used
the
to.
most.
I wonder if they
raised
still
money.
do that. I hadn't looked to see how it's. The last time we went with blue plate, and I got to judge, and I got to stand out and talk to people about mayonnaise. That guy looks like he knows his mayonnaise.
This weekend, we're going to spend the weekend in Melbourne, Arkansas at a burger contest.
Heck yeah. Cooper's Hawk Golf Course, Melbourne, Arkansas. Townsend Spice and Supplies putting it on. We're helping them out a little bit. We're going to be there just hyping everybody up.
Our job, we got a cart, and we're going to drive around and deliver Bloody Marys.
I'm gonna be over there calling the Hogs because oh man, how awesome was that? Took down UT last week. God, that was a game. I'm going to relate it all back to that college football. We ain't even got to Nashville yet. I don't know if they fished those goalposts out of that river yet or not.
I don't think they're coming out.
I saw them on radar. They hit the goalpost or in the water. And they were like, I guess they were watching it like this maritime radar thing.
That was a 3-mile walk.
From the stadium down Broadway to the river.
And the cops were just closing the...
they led the... they blocked off traffic for them. How are you going to stop them? Vandy may never get to do that again in history. Beat number 1 Alabama at their house. I mean, in Nashville at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Broken down stadium that they're trying to rebuild. They did a good job of not showing it on that broadcast.
I noticed it a few times.
I did too, like especially at the end. You
at the end zones,
a lot of the construction.
Yeah. But anyway, we're in Arkansas this weekend. They're still taking applications if you're local to that area.
$50, come cook a burger. That's all it is to it.
Yeah, it's a local kind of contest.
It's a lot of fun. The Friday night's usually what's fun.
Yeah, they do a Friday night. They get a live band.
Yeah, it's kind of a sing-along. We turned it into a sing-along.
It's not a karaoke bar, but Malcom makes it that.
It's not a karaoke at all. If you know the song, just jump right in where you fit in.
Do you think that people are like, God, that guy's back?
I'm going to be very reserved this year. I'm going to start out that way.
How's the turn-in for a burger contest work? Do they have to cut it into 6?
They're doing the same way we kind of did it here at the shop for our burger contest. So you turn in 1 full burger, and that's what you're judged on in appearance. So you get a cake box, essentially, like a bakery cake box. You turn in 1 full burger.
With a little viewing window on it?
Yeah, it's got a little viewing window on it. So you get 1 burger that's just your appearance score, and then you turn in 6 samples for tasting. You can do sliders. You can cut a burger up into multiple pieces, whatever you want to do. But that way you get to be judged on 1 full burger, and then you also have your samples for your...
Do they eat the full burger, or is it
I'm sure it's going to get eaten, yeah. But for judging purposes, you just look at that one, and then you get...
That way it doesn't get destroyed trying to cut it, and everybody, gets a fair shake.
That's what I think.
And it's not like a decorating contest either. That's why that was the purpose of the cake box, where it limits to what you can put in there. So it's ample room to put 6 samples in a burger, but it's not enough just to go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Because you're not judged on how well you garnish the burger. It's how good the burger itself looks.
I feel like I could have fun with sliders at a contest. Like that seems like pretty fun.
What would you do if you were going to do a burger? Would you do like a traditional big old American classic burger?
I know exactly what I would do.
Stack smash or?
I would do that jerk melon burger.
Oh, the jerk melon. That's a good one.
I've always thought that would win a burger contest.
I would probably do a barbecue burger.
With pulled pork on top.
Pulled pork on it, bacon on it. It would be a meat lover's burger.
That's what I'm thinking too. I was thinking like a black and blue with like good brisket on it. Or something.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be good. That would be really good.
But a smash burger, people do love smash burgers, and they're easy to execute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you just need a little flat top, and you can stack those up. You can make small ones really easy. Those little greasy small smash burgers are the way to go.
Yeah.
Blue plate mayonnaise and thin sliced Kroger dill pickles. It's all you need. Smash that burger into a little bit of griddled onion.
Well, you did one. We were watching football and you were cooking smash
2
burgers.
weeks ago.
I turned it into a little TikTok.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
They're so good.
And they cook fast. You can show up out there with your griddle, fire that thing up. You've got your burgers cooked in 15 minutes. You done wiped it back down, and then you're watching football.
Mm-hmm.
That's my idea of doing a contest. Let's get all that out the way. We're just going to have a good time.
The Jack Daniels is also this weekend.
It is. That's a fun one, too. I think Mark headed up there today, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Mark. Did Jamie go with him?
I don't know.
He was talking about it, but yeah. The Jack Daniels World Championships is probably one of the... Invitational.
It's probably the most prestigious.
I agree.
Of all the barbecue contests. Just because it's a challenge to get into it.
And you're at Jack Daniels. You're going to dinner at the at the distillery. It's cool.
It's fun. I broke out the white Colonel suit there one year.
Man, that's been so long.
Was that the first year? Man, if you could pull that picture up, gosh.
I bet I could.
I feel like I've seen that picture. Have I?
I still have that suit in the closet. I need to break it back out.
Do you think it still fits?
It might be a good Halloween outfit. It could be the Colonel.
Walk around with a bucket of Kentucky Fried.
That's why I didn't go get a bucket. Do they still make the bucket?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I bet you can buy one.
You got your Halloween
You
costume.
get a chicken leg. You get a chicken leg. I can just walk around giving them out. Trick or treat.
I think Michael was a baby.
He was. He didn't go with us.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was like a toddler, like a year old or something, and now
I've
he's
still
driving.
got the banner.
So.
It's in the garage, barely hanging on. It's in the garage.
So this past weekend, you cooked a steak dinner.
That's what I wrote down to talk about. This wasn't any steak dinner. So for my birthday, my buddy Kevin, shout out Kevin down at the butcher shop, he had sent me a little care package, and he was like, "Happy birthday!" And I think we're going to try to get him on the podcast, aren't we? That's what we're
scheduled.
Good.
In a few weeks, yeah.
But he sent me these steaks, and I don't know what grade of steak it was. I don't know if it was Australian Wagyu, Japanese Wagyu, whatever, but it was phenomenal. And it was like, so he sent like a ribeye and a strip. I think there was 2 of each, and I knew we didn't need that much. So I cooked like one.
Yeah, it was only us 3.
Yeah. One small, it was kind of a small ribeye, but it was thick. And then a perfect strip that was thick too. And I was like, "Oh, these are going to be good." So I took them out of the freezer, I don't know, like Thursday, just let them kind of slow thaw in the refrigerator. And then we cooked them. I cooked them up Saturday while we were watching football.
So so you said they were thick, and you ended up doing a reverse sear.
I did. I do that with all, like, if I get the thick steaks, do better with the reverse sear. If you want to get an even cook across that whole steak, that real fast, flipping and turning is not going to get the job done. It'll get the outside too done before you get the inside where you want it. And I want it to be perfect from edge to edge. That's why I do the reverse sear.
So at what point do you make that decision?
Depends on how thick. If it's over like 1.25 inches thick, inch and a half, if it's over that, I'm going. And these were probably 2 inches.
Yeah, I was going to say they were 2 inches.
So they would, and can you imagine one thing with the Wagyu, you're not going to be able just to direct grill it over fire like that the whole time, because it's going to be raining that delicious fat that's inside that steak. When it starts coming out, it will fireball any grill. And even if you grind a Wagyu brisket trimmings and do burgers with it, you better watch those burgers, because Shell found out it will fireball. That's a lot of fat rendering out. So that's why the reverse sear really works for that.
So what was your process from start to finish? You pulled them out, you let them thaw.
So I went with the Como Steakhouse flavored steak.
Okay.
It's one of our favorite local kind of historic places. It's been in business several years.
It's pretty famous around here.
It's pretty famous, the Como Steakhouse. But it's almost like a Dale's marinade that they don't marinate the steaks, I don't think, in it. They just brush them all over it before they season it. So it's kind of like a binder. And so that's what I did. I had
Worcestershire.
I had a bottle of Dale's. Oh. You can use Worcestershire, but I used Dale's. I wanted that Como flavor. And I'm pretty sure that's what Como uses. So I went on these steaks. I went with the Como Steakhouse flavor. And I had a bottle of Dale's in the pantry. I had been in there. I had knocked the dust off of it. So I don't ever use that stuff. It's so salty. But in the right amount in the right place, it works. So I took like maybe a capful per steak if I had to give you a measurement. It ain't much. But I just drizzle that on there and take my gloved hand and just kind of wipe it all in and get that flavor down in the steak a little bit and let it kind of coat the outside. It's not like dripping wet like it's been submerged in it. It's just the outside's dampened with it. And then I season it. And I use like AP, salt, pepper, garlic. You got to have that on every steak you cook. And then I use a little bit of Martin Jamie Swan Live beef, a little coat of that, and I let it sit. And I let these steaks sit out at room temp probably for 20 to 30 minutes. And what I like to do is after like 10, 15 minutes, I'll flip them. So they're kind of sweating. As they're sitting there, they're sweating. They're pulling out moisture. Flavors hopefully seeping to the inside as it pulls out moisture. And so the bottom side will be really, really tacky. Top side's sitting in the air. And so I kind of flip them every 10 minutes to get it even. And then right before
how long is that process?
Usually 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
I don't let it go too long. But that Wagyu, when it starts getting room temp, boy, it starts doing something magical.
What does it do? It
starts melting. Like you can hold it in your hand, and the heat from your hand will start melting the fat in it. So the ambient temperature of the air, I keep mine on about 68, 69. I'm a big guy. I like to stay comfortable. So it's not like it's super hot in the house. It's not sitting outside. And so they're sitting there, but they're sitting there getting tacky. And then right before I put it on the grill, I season them really good with the coarse rub. I use my steak rub, but you could use any kind of coarse seasoning you like just to give it some texture on the outside. That's where you get a little bit of crunch. It's not really bark, but it's a nice contrast in texture. And you still get, some of those herbs that are in there and those coarser pieces of salt and black pepper. But I fired up my Primo. You could use any grill set up for indirect heat. That's what you want when you're cooking steaks like this, indirect heat.
So a 2-zone?
2-zone. High coals on one side, void on the other side, so it's safe. There's no flames going to hit it over there. The heat's not as harsh on it. It's a slower cook. I check my vents back to where that grill's running about 325.
Okay, so you're cooking lower.
Yeah, it's lower. It's lower. I didn't throw any wood on there. I wasn't trying to smoke them or anything. But, that lump, I use roll oak lump, and it gives it some smoke flavor. So you can overdo it if you don't watch it. And I didn't really want these to be smoky. It's not like I'm, cooking barbecue here.
You can overpower those.
Yeah, steaks, easy.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I was going for. So I started them off on the cool side, put me a probe in there, set it for 115. That's the point I want to get them off the first time. I don't want them to go any higher than that. And when you're cooking, these Wagyu steaks are heavily marbled, a lot of fat, intermuscular fat in them. You got to watch those internal temperatures because it'll give you false temps. I don't know. I guess it's the fat ratio in them melts at different temps. I don't know the science behind it, but why? But you can get different readings in that steak at different places. And it's all ribeye. When I cook fatty ribeyes or marbled up ribeyes, they all do it. And so you have to, don't just stick it in the spinalis. Go about center way of the eye of the loin that's in the ribeye. And that's where you want to put your thermometer. And once it hits 115, take it off. It took about 25, 30 minutes.
Really?
Wasn't long at all. I mean, Michael sat out there with me. We had the game on. We were just watching that thermometer.
So do you flip it during that process at all?
I didn't move it at all.
Okay.
I just put them on there, shut the lid, and watch the ThermoWorks dot. Now, as soon as they hit 115 internal, that's when I take them off the pit the first time. And I usually have me a little sheet pan with some foil on it right there. And what I want to do is I want to watch them carry over because these steaks still have a lot of heat built up in them, and they're not just going to stop at 115. In fact, the one that I had probed, I had another little strip on there for Michael because he's not crazy about the Wagyu, and so
he's not our kid.
Yeah.
I swear.
Don't like fat. But anyway, so I left that probe in that steak. Once it hit 115, I assumed all of them were. I didn't check all of them. I mean, if I'd have been really, really cooking them, I'd have. But I knew they were right there.
Yeah.
So I pulled them off, and I had a little tub, and I don't know it's a Land O'Lakes butter.
Yeah, it was like a garlic and herb, or
it's pretty much just a steakhouse butter. I mean, I hit it with a little prime beef. I popped it in the microwave to soften it a little bit. And I hit it with a little prime beef and a little bit of Alfregoni's chimichurri just to give it some herbs in there. And that's my steakhouse butter. It's super easy. You can buy it at the store and it works for anytime you're doing steak. It just amps up a butter.
Yeah, it's Land O'Lakes garlic and herb butter. And it comes in a little tub with a purple lid.
Yep. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
No sponsor or anything. It's good. Trust me.
That's just what we need, a butter sponsor.
A butter. That's next. You look like my butter. So we need a butter sponsor.
Pull out your mayonnaise.
How many people's got butter sponsors? But anyway, so I take that butter and soften it up in the microwave just a little bit with those seasonings. And then I take a little brush and it softens up the brush. And as soon as that steak's sitting there resting, I go ahead and brush the top side with that butter. And I'm sitting there watching it. So I don't know. I didn't really time it, but if I had to guess, it was probably 12 to 15 minutes of watching it climb. And that dude went up from 115 to 127. That's a pretty big climb.
Do you get nervous when you see that, Tim?
No, because I've done it.
Yeah.
The first few times I did it, I'm like, oh, I've screwed these up. So I used to take them. This is a good thing. I used to take them like 125, take them off, and I wouldn't rest them. I'd just get the grill hot and go to searing them. And sometimes they come out right, and sometimes they be a little over. So what got me to 115 was back in that initial cook back. And then I'm like, let's watch this internal and see what it does. It's going to give you about 10 to 12 degrees of carryover. And then what I do is the whole time I've got the lid on the Primo open, I'm letting that fire eat. I'm wanting those coals to get as hot as they can because all I want to do now is sear the outside. So as that steak's climbing, I've got the grill open, getting those coals hot.
So your steak's over here resting.
Steak's over there resting. Thermometer's still in it. Once it gets to its peak, I'll let it set at that peak, and then when it starts going down, so like the next time I see 126, 125, I know I'm not going to let it set till it goes all the way back down to 115, but I know that it's peaked out. It's transferred all its heat that it had pushed out. It's got back down in the core of that meat, and it's kind of settled down. And so that's when you want to sear the outside. And all we're doing then is just locking in that crust. I'm searing it. I'm getting that good caramelized effect of the meat and the seasonings, and it's just phenomenal. And what I do is, since I've got that top side brushed with the butter, it's kind of slicked over. It goes down first, and then I immediately start coming with the butter on the backside, and I intentionally let some of that butter kind of drip off and get to those coals, and that gives you that Burger King flamed Whopper effect.
So how long you got it on the flames?
Oh, usually I do like a minute, flip it a minute, flip it a minute, flip it a minute, and that's it. I don't want it to be on there long. No, not even near 5 minutes total. So it's probably less than 4, somewhere between 2.5, 3.5, depending on how hot your coals. If you still got good coal bed, you're getting those flames kicked up. And then because when you flip it after a minute, you can look at it. You say, oh yeah, it's sizzling. I'm getting that color, but I need a little more so I can move it around to those hot spots. And usually I do those one at a time when I'm doing that, because I don't want too many steaks on. Because when I'm telling you, this part's kind of dangerous, because it'll get like, I'll have fire coming up to the top of the Primo lid, and my arm's going in there, and I've got tongs, and if you didn't watch what you're doing, you could send yourself pretty good. It's a pretty good fire.
So are you closing the lid?
No,
between?
I'm never closing the lid again. I'm leaving it open. Now, if it got out of hand, and you got to put that fire out, that's the great thing about a Primo or any ceramic cooker, is you can close that lid, shut those vents off, and eventually the oxygen's gonna be gone, and it's gonna burn itself out
Pretty quick too.
But
yeah.
and I'm not, now what I'm saying, I'm putting a little butter on, I'm not dumping it. It's not a bowl of it. It's just enough to get those flames kicking. I mean, the meat juice is gonna be dripping, and it's got fat mixed with it. It's gonna be firing up too, and it's just gonna give you that really what a grilled steak should taste like. And when I tell you, these steaks were, I don't know if I could cook a better steak. I really don't. And I know 90% of it was probably the meat, 10% of it was me, but my goodness, they were so it would just hurt you.
Oh no, the steak, when I went to go like put it on the plate, it was like Jell-O.
Oh man.
And when it feels like Jell-O, it's going to be a good steak.
So
perfect cook, perfect doneness.
We had a ribeye and a strip, and I think I took the strip, and I ate maybe half of it. I don't even know if I ate half of it. And you started eating the ribeye, and you said, you got to try this. And that's when we swapped a little bit. Oh man, that ribeye. I've got one more of those, and I can't wait for me and you to split it.
And really, with the meat that rich, it's hard to eat a whole steak like that.
You can't. There's still steak left from that.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, we couldn't eat it. We couldn't eat it. Well, we did. So we did a baked potato, because Como, you get a baked potato. And you did those in the oven.
We did Brussels sprouts.
And then I like the charred Brussels sprouts with the little balsamic drizzle. You got to have some vegetable to go with it.
To balance it all out. Yeah.
But man, you talk about, I don't know if a Saturday could get anybody. Ole Miss won too. They went on and handled South Carolina. So I wasn't even going to mention that one, but that was like the perfect Saturday. State didn't get beaten by nobody. That's a change.
Yeah, because they were on bye. You also did Buffalo Chicken Meatballs.
Yes. That was a video.
Yeah.
Man, you couldn't keep those at a tailgate if you took them. They're so good.
Where'd you come up with that idea? Because that was a good idea.
I was just thinking about some football foods, and what would be, when I think about something like that, I'm thinking about what's easy to eat. You can pop in, whether you're around a tailgate or at somebody's house or whatever, you can keep those, and you can walk by, snag you one, and keep on going. It's not like a sit down meal. And I was thinking about food along those lines, and I was like, you know what? We got to talk about meatballs the other day. I was like, I've never had a buffalo meatball. And then I said, well, heck, why can't we just, instead of using like frozen meatballs or beef or pork, why couldn't I use ground chicken and make a meatball? And so it was really a pretty healthy meatball. And all I did was,
yeah, it was.
I mean,
that was panko, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that bad. And you could take that and you could use crumbs of like pork rinds, if you want to try to keep this keto,
Oh, yeah.
you could easily do it. But it wasn't, there's nothing to it. I mixed up meatballs. I used a little melon scooper to kind of ball them up.
You did put a ranch packet in the meat.
Meat to give it that kind of, buffalo wingy tones.
You put a little garlic in there.
It was good.
Some seasoning.
Really good. I was shocked because I'd never cooked those before. I was shocked by how good they are. And they would reheat well. You could toss them in any kind of sauce you wanted to do. I could see using that chicken meatball for a lot of stuff, not just like an appetizer. You could use it for a pasta dish.
They do reheat well.
Real well.
Yeah, because we reheated some.
And we ate them all. Those all got ate this week.
So you balled them up. You mixed them up. It was chicken, seasonings, little panko, egg.
Yeah, it's like making a regular old meatball. There's nothing to it.
And you put it on the pellet grill.
Put it on pellet grill, cooked them till they were, I don't even know if I think I did probe them, like 160, 165. Since it's ground chicken, you want to make sure it's cooked good. And then when I took them off, I just put them in a bowl like I would wings and tossed them in a wing sauce. And I cheated there. I think it was a Buffalo Wild Wings medium or is that the one? Yeah. They had a bin of them at Kroger on sale. I was like, I'll use that in the recipe.
You tossed them in a sauce, a buffalo sauce. You poured them on a platter.
Stick toothpicks in them and drizzle them with a little ranch.
You drizzle them with a little ranch. And
that's just a straight up blue plate sour cream and a ranch packet. Use a little milk too, don't you?
Yeah. It was sour cream, milk, and a ranch packet in that one.
No blue plate in that one?
No blue plate in that one.
For a dipping sauce, I like to use the mayonnaise and sour cream. For a dressing, I like to use the milk and the sour cream. Omit the mayonnaise. But for a dipping, like if you wanted to make some to go with those meatballs, the dippier half sour cream, half mayonnaise in a ranch packet makes a better dip.
To me, that would make easy tailgate food, party food, whatever. Because you can pre-do it.
You can do those ahead of time. You could even freeze them.
Yeah,
if you wanted to. Then you cook them and throw them in a crock pot to keep them warm. Now, I wouldn't keep them too hot after you got them cooked like that because they probably would eventually start falling apart. But for taking them somewhere, it'd be super easy.
I didn't think about putting them in a crock pot, but you could smoke them.
Yeah.
Then throw them in a crock pot with sauce and take them wherever.
Smoke them the day before. Put them in the refrigerator, and then the next day, put them in the crock pot, warm them up with the sauce, and you got a party ready to happen. a meatball party.
I feel like the smoker was really important because the texture on those meatballs was like awesome.
Oh yeah, the texture is what made them. They were light, they were packed meatball, but the texture was really really good because it was kind of soft. It wasn't packy like real hard.
Yeah, like those frozen meatballs are. Yeah. This weekend we also did something that Mark Williams has been telling us to do. This was kind of his idea. He came up with it. And that was truffle fries.
God, they were good.
I got to give Mark credit for this one, but we love truffle fries. We order them when we go out to fancy restaurants, and we've had some bad ones. But when you
got good ones, just got good ones. You wouldn't think. Dave and Buster's.
They do have good truffle fries.
Best steakhouse in a arcade setting, according to study in Philadelphia.
But yeah, so what you do for these truffle fries is you buy the Ore-Ida extra crispy fast food fries.
Come in a red bag.
Red bag. Even if you're not making truffle fries, those are the best fries. Put them in an air fryer, cook them as normal. When they come out, you use Truff brand truffle oil.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take much.
Just a few little drops. Toss them in there with I used AP and then Parmesan.
And that's all there is to it.
And that's all there was to it.
Do you like truffle fries, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you got to try these.
I'm going to have to.
The Truff, we couldn't find it at Walmart. And Mark said that's the best one to use is the Truff brand truffle oil.
Where'd you get it? Order it?
Kroger.
Kroger
had it. Like in their oil section.
I like their hot sauce and everything. It's really good.
So he's been doing, and I hadn't tried them yet, but Mark and his wife's been doing truffle wings.
Really?
So he'll take whole chicken wings and deep fry them. And then he says, now you don't we take wings, we usually pull the basket up and let it drain really good.
Yeah.
He says the trick is soon as those wings are done, they're floating around in the hot oil, take that basket immediately, dump it in the bowl. But in the big wing bowl, it's got like one of these metal bowls.
Yeah.
He'll drizzle that truffle in the bowl, season it with a little AP. That just like that. take those hot, drippy, still greasy wings, throw them in that bowl. And he said and then hit them with a little bit more truffle, a little bit more AP, and start tossing them. And he said there's something about not letting them drain while they still have a lot of grease on the outside. They soak up that truffle real fast, and they're kind of making their own little. It's not saucy. It's not like real. It's not like a ton of oil. It's just whatever would drip off when you pick them up and dump them. You're just not letting it drain. And he said it is out of this world. So I got to try them. The next time,
does he
we
do
fry
Parmesan?
Wings. No, he don't even put parm on them. It's just
the oil and AP.
That and AP, yeah. That's all. I guess you could put a little parm on them if you want.
Has he tried them with air fryer wings, or is it only the fried wings? Pellet grill wings.
I don't know if he's tried them with that. I don't see why. I mean, you could.
You don't have that grease.
They're not going to be as greasy. I don't know how you do that then. So, yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do them but they're just not going to have as much oil. But see, the trick is you can't use too much of that truffle. It's stout.
Yes.
And it will ruin something. So if I was going to do the pellet grill wing, I would probably, as soon as they come off the pellet grill and they're really, really hot, I'd go into a little melted butter with just a little AP, toss them in that, and then put them over in the truffle bowl and then toss them in that. And that way you got a little assembly line going, but you're going to pick up that flavor and that butter's going to help carry it.
Yeah, and it won't stick. You won't have so much oil.
Yeah, and you could melt the butter and put a little truffle in that butter and try it that way. I don't know. These are all experiments I'm willing to do. I'll take it for the team. I will try these and let y'all know.
But those fries are worth a try.
They are. They're definitely really, really good.
And those Ore-Ida fast food fries are just the best fries, especially in an air fryer.
They're kind of like McDonald's fries.
They are. You know what? Someone brought this up on the community that you never cooked that camel. You were sent camel meat.
I drink enough to cook that. If y'all want to see me do it, it's probably going to be a fifth night. Something. Fifth nights are never good nights.
I completely forgot about the camel till that was brought up. Now
I hadn't forgot about it. I look at it when I go. And I'm like, am I feeling camel-y today?
I'm going to annoy you till you cook that camel.
I just imagine.
I'm so curious.
But would you eat horse? Because I'd have a problem. I mean, I'd have to be really, really hungry to eat a horse.
I'd eat horse. And
I can't imagine that camel being better than horse. Can you? It's got to be dry. He lives in a daggum desert. He can't have no fat in him.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You eat squirrel.
That's a delicious animal.
I definitely couldn't see eating any of the leg or anything like that of a horse or a camel because it's just used so much.
Bones and tendons.
I'm sure there's parts on it that's good. People all over the world eat this stuff.
Yeah, because they don't know how good chicken wings are. They don't have truffle.
So I got
have delicious beef.
They don't have Kevin from the butcher shops.
Yeah, they don't have Kevin. Yeah, that's right.
Real quick, Malcom, I think this would be a good time to pay some bills.
Alrighty. The How to Barbecue Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Shell, did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo Grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit primogrill.com and check them out.
So I have some questions from the community for you.
Ooh, my favorite. What's been going on in the community? I hadn't jumped in there in a minute.
They're wondering where the camel is.
Oh, is that where the camel talk's coming from? Camel talk.
A lot of Vikings talk, too.
Well, you daggum right. There's a lot of Vikings talk. 5-0, baby. Going into the bye. Who would have bet that?
I think we should start a thread that is, how is Malcolm's fantasy football teams doing?
They're not doing too good. They're not doing too good at all. In fact, there's one of them, I don't even think I've won a single game. And everybody's in the IR. Like, I've only got 2 IR spots. I've got like 6 on IR. My team's trash. It's trash. I'm done.
The guy I'm playing this week hasn't even like changed his stuff. He has so many people in the IR bye weeks and stuff, so it says he's going to average like 20 points.
Oh man,
free week for me. So
yeah, you know what? I say it every year. The best part about fantasy football is the draft. After those first 2 or 3 weeks,
there is like this curve that happens. It's like we're drafting. You listen to the podcast, you get all excited. You research, you do all this. You're so excited. You draft. You're like, I got the best team ever, and then it just.
The Vikings are doing pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Vikings are doing great right now. 5-0. Talking about the Vikings. We ain't talking about fantasy football. We're talking fantasy. We ain't talking fantasy.
Talking real football.
I'm talking what they're really doing out there in the field.
All right. So I got some questions for you.
All right.
Michael asked, and I think this is a good one. Have you ever used Moo Glue, the transglutaminase?
Hey, I don't know how to say it. Transglutaminase.
Transglutaminase, yeah.
But yes, I have. I'm not a fan of it. Back when we started doing steak cook-offs years ago, that became a trend. Kind of people were deconstructing steaks and putting them back together to make the perfect steak. And we tried it. We played with it, and I didn't like it. It's.
I've always been told it's dangerous. Like, don't inhale it.
That's the big thing. I was
it.
scared. We were told that too. It's like, man, when you're working with this stuff, if you breathe any of it in, like the dust of it, it'll get in your nasal cavities, and the moisture in your nasal cavities will activate it, and it can glue. It's going to glue you shut. And I don't know if it had ever happened or if that's like just something to warn people or what. But I do not want to find out. I do not want my nasal cavities glued shut. So we were really careful when we used this stuff. And there was a few times where, like, if you had a steak that was coming apart, like maybe the spinalis after you trimmed it was starting to come off, you could moisten a little of that stuff and put it down and put that spinalis back together, and it'll glue it right back together. I don't know the science behind it. It's some kind of chemical reaction that's happening with the proteins in this meat, I guess. But I know about it, and I'm not a fan of it.
Have you ever used it outside of steaks?
Don't.
Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, so I've seen people take fish and put chicken skin on it using transglutaminase.
Oh.
And so it would make a real crispy, it'd be, it's kind of a fusion dish, I guess. But I've seen them do different things like that.
It's kind of
where they've made skins of stuff. And I think I've seen people use it for chicken skin too.
Yeah,
you're having trouble. Yeah, you're having trouble with chicken skin sliding off. You could do it, but man, I just don't know if trying to do all this chemically unnatural stuff is good for you. So I try to steer clear of it. That's why you don't see me using a ton of injections and stuff either.
I think Max would be a good guy to get on the podcast to talk about that because he uses it for like a billion.
Does he? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of creative ways you can use this stuff, but
yeah,
man, people give me a hard enough time about MSG. You're going to start using meat glue.
So Michael said he heard us talking about Alto Shams on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he's got one. He said it works great. It's like $250.
What?
Yeah. He said he's used it several times. It's he's held fully cooked briskets at $155 for 15 plus hours.
Wow. $250 though. That's in my wheelhouse.
I forgot.
I thought they were like thousands.
It's like an Amazon type.
Yeah. That's even better to prime it to me.
Yeah.
You don't even have to pay for that right now.
It looks like it would hold about 4 briskets. So it's a small.
That's pretty good size.
But it's what, like a home use.
It's the size of our Cambros or Carlisle's. If it'll hold 4, it's about so it's about like a food carrier.
So the Vivor hot box food warmer. So it's a 25 by 15 by 24.
Is it humidity controlled, or is it just like a hot box?
Oh no, it's a.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's humidity or temperature. I don't know.
Well, that was a big thing with the proofing ovens or whatever. You can control the humidity in them too, so it's not a moist. You can set it where you want it, how you want it held dry, you want it held some moisture, whatever.
But anyway, I thought that was a good tip. We might get one of those and try it out.
Does it work? Is that brisket in there better than one we just put in the cooler and hold?
He says his are.
I bet they're like restaurant quality. I mean, or close as you can get to it at home without having the same one they use.
He says every time he uses it, they come out moist, tender, hot, ready to slice. It holds 4 full-size
must be a
aluminum
salesman.
pans.
He's done sold me. It's a good reason to cook 3 or 4 briskets.
Okay. Meat Kings. He smoked 3 pork shoulders, all the same weight. One finished in 16 hours and the other 2 took 22.
I've done that before.
He says
no reason why. I don't know what they did to that hog. I don't know what causes it. I don't know if I've heard all different kinds of reasons. Just no 2 cuts of meat are alike. I mean, I would think that if they come off the same animal, they're going to cook the same rate, but you don't know where these came from, and I think that has more to do with it than anything. A lot of it does too. Like, I don't know what kind of grill he cooked or smoker he cooked them on, but smokers have hot spots, and even like say we're cooking in our old Hickory CTOs. If I cook butts up top, they're going to get done way before the butts on the bottom shelf. And if you didn't know any better, you would say, why is that? Something's wrong with this meat. No, it's the airflow in the pit. You've got different hot spots. It's hotter on this rack in this position than it is in another place. So that there's a lot of things that could go into why that happened. But the main thing is he let them keep cooking. He hopefully gave himself plenty of time. And one gets off. Hey, no problem. I can hold that dude. He can come off early. We've had them come off at midnight, like we're on an overnight cook. I've put butts on at like 7. For some reason, man, these jerkers cooked in 5 hours. We got to get these off. But the others took till daylight, and explain that. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, some of the old men we used to cook with would say it's because them hogs lived hard life.
They lived a hard life. Yeah, the ones that are hanging out and take forever to get done, they're tougher. Heck yeah. They was living fast and hard.
Paul had a question. He says this is bacon math. So he normally cooks regular cut bacon, but he scored a deal on some thick cut bacon. Mm-hmm. When he asked his wife how much bacon she wanted, she said 4 pieces. But because it was thick, he only cooked her 3. And she said, it's not the same. If I ask for 4, it's 4. It don't matter if it's thin or thick.
Oh, it's a bacon math. You should have cooked 6. Yeah. There's always, what if one piece falls on the floor? What if the dog looks at it and needs a bite? What if, you got to try it to make sure it's okay for her to eat it? Bacon math, you always round up and add round up plus 2.
Never subtract.
Yeah, never subtract. Never subtract on bacon math.
Doesn't matter how thick
round
it
up
is.
Plus 2. If you think you need 12 ounces, cook a pound. I get so mad they took bacon packs to 12 ounces. I want a pound of bacon. Now you got to buy the pound pack and they charge you $3 more. That's
shrinkflation, baby.
That's the one I've been buying. The Smithfield. It's thick cut. The 1 pounder.
Yeah. Those are the thick cut ones.
Yeah, they have like a traditional, I guess, regular cut. You call it.
I prefer a regular cut. It gets crispier.
It depends. Like I like Wright brand bacon, the thick stuff. Oh, it's good. But it depends. I mean,
I feel like the thin cut bacon cooks better in the oven.
Yeah, it wraps better. Like if you're putting it on stuff, that's what usually I go with thin bacon. But if I'm doing eating bacon, I'm probably going to go with the thick. BLT, thick. I'm going thick bacon on BLT.
Depends on the bacon. Have you noticed that there's a difference in taste from package to package of bacon?
Yeah. I don't know why. I guess it's the same thing. Hog to hog's different.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Jack's smoking his biggest brisket to date. It's 18 pounds. He usually does a 10-poundish, so that's a big difference. How long do you need to smoke it? At 18-pounder at 225.
Shoot.
3 days.
It's gonna take 20 to 26 hours probably at 225. It's gonna take a long time.
What would you do if you had an 18-pounder?
I mean, I would trim it down some. I mean, well, by the time you take fat off and all that, let me rephrase that. I guess some of the biggest brisket I ever cooked is probably 24, 25 pounds starting weight. But by the time you trim it down to where it's manageable for the griller, the way it's going to look the way I want it to, I've probably cut it down to 17 pounds, And a lot of those that we would start out at 18 and 19 pounds or anything under 20, I think that was like the class, it would be 17 to 20s is what they would sell us. So they could be anywhere. By the time you cut them down, they were more like 13 pounds. So there's,
But you were also cutting that down for competition.
Yeah. But even at cooking at home, I still trim it down. I take a lot of that fat off because it just adds extra time to your cook. But I probably wouldn't cook it at 225. That's not my optimal temp to cook a brisket at. I'm more of 250. That's where I like to be, 250, 275. Speeds the cook up a little, but the brisket cooks good, and there's good airflow, going around it at that point.
Even if you're doing it overnight on a pellet?
Oh, if I'm doing it overnight on a pellet grill, that's different. I would, overnight brisket, I'd definitely roll it at 225. But it's probably, it's going to take, probably at least 24 hours, no joke. No joke, because a smaller brisket will take 17, 18 on the overnighter. You put them on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that day might not be ready till 5 the next day. And I'm probably not going to wrap it. It's going to go overnight. I'm probably not going to wrap it till 7, 8 a.m. And then at that point, it's probably going to speed it up on a normal size brisket. And if it's a super thick one that he hadn't trimmed much, it's going to keep on going. But if he's not wrapping it at all, it might take it, 24 hours. So I would probably start it out low, let it go to it's got beautiful bark, let it go overnight. And when I say let it go, it's probably going to be 12 hours. It's going to be a long time. And then when it gets to about 165, 170, I'm definitely going to wrap it. And then I'm going to finish it that way. And I'm probably going to crank the temp up at that point.
Butcher paper or full?
I tend to do more full than I do butcher paper. It just depends on what kind of brisket you want. If you want a more Texas style, I would do the butcher paper. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. So
then you wrap it, crank up the heat.
Yep, take it up to where it feels soft. Usually it's above 202 somewhere, depending on the brisket. As soon as it gets that way, I'm going to stick it in the cooler and I'm going to let it rest another 4 hours. so we might not be eating that brisket till
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it might be a while. I would give myself a full 24, probably plus a 2 hour hold, so 26.
That's a cook.
That's a cook. Yeah.
That's a good weekend right there.
Heck yeah. If you want to eat it Saturday afternoon, put that dude on at noon on Friday. If you're going to do it that low and slow.
Jeff, this is pretty cool. He took some venison and made hot dogs at home.
I've seen bologna made. I've never seen hot dogs.
So he, ground the meat.
What do you use for the casing? Can you buy hot dog casings? Edible hot dog casings?
Yes. They looked really cool. He said he made them on Sunday, let it bloom overnight in the fridge, and then smoked them Monday afternoon.
Oh. So he did a smoked dog.
Yeah. They he showed pictures of meat. They were
I bet it's really good.
Yeah. I kind of want you to do that.
I like summer sausage.
Yeah.
And I like jalapeno and cheese smoked sausage. The hot dogs, Nathan makes a dang good quarter-pound hot dog.
He says he does a bunch of sausage and stuff like that.
But I'd try them, definitely.
They look professional. Like he knew what he was doing.
Man, sausage making's an art.
Yeah.
It ain't the easiest thing. There's definitely an art to it.
You could do a whole multiple podcasts on just the art of sausage making. Yeah.
I couldn't, but
somebody
I could learn. I could be glad to listen and talk about it, but I wouldn't have much to add to it.
And Nick shared a little tip. He's got one of those little shop vacs, baby shop vacs you use for.
I have one for my pellet grill.
Yeah. He said he was going to light up his drum, and he did a reverse his little baby shop vac to blow it down the intake pipe to stoke it quicker. And he said it worked like a dream.
Man, it'd be my luck if I did that. Blow ash and dust, blow the top off the drum. You got to be light on that trigger.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. You'd have it covered.
It's kind of like a barbecue guru, though. That's that little fan. They had those little fans that you'd put on there and hook up, and it'd pulse and send air down it to stoke it.
That loop lighter? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, no.
It's a adapter for your grill. Barbecue guru is one. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see
that stayed on the whole cook.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a little bracket, and you mounted it on there, and you put your fan on it, and it went to a little controller, and you'd set your temps, and so it would hold your grill by pulsing air or blowing constant air till it got the heat right, and it would cut off, and it would just pulse. So it's kind of doing that same thing.
Yeah, I used to use those a lot on drums.
Yeah, I did them. I used them on drums all the time. You could run that one. I had a Stoker, I think it was called. It would run four pits. I don't even know if they still make. It's called a Rockstar Stoker, I think, or Stoker by Rockstar.
That was definitely for competition use.
Man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I still got that thing somewhere. It's in a tote.
Well, Malc, that's all I have for you today.
Is that it? So, what's the game lineup this weekend? Do we know? Oh, the Rebels got a big one Saturday night down at the
LSU.
Swamp at LSU. Yeah. Well, is that called the Swamp? They don't call that one the Swamp, do they?
Oh, it's Death Valley.
Death Valley. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Swamp
It's Florida.
Skaters.
Yeah.
Arkansas's playing somebody.
I'm sure I hadn't even looked at the schedule. You're the one that does the SEC pick 'em.
I hadn't done my pick 'em yet.
Oh, you better get on it. The Vikings are off, so nobody's got to get beat down by the purple wave.
Get to maintain that 5-0 for
That's
another
right.
week.
Take it through week 6. I'm
Don't say
I'm a
it.
realist. I'm not gonna. I'm a realist. I know what's going to happen. But you ride that wave while it's high.
Tyler, you got anything going on in the community?
We do. So we are officially giving away a Grill of Grills silverback over on in the community.
What?
We're kind of making it all Thanksgiving themed. So all we're asking for y'all to do is head to the comments, post a picture of something you're going to cook on Thanksgiving. That can be a ham, a turkey. It could be the sides. It could be deviled eggs. It could be hash brown casserole, whatever you're making for the big turkey day. Comment it down below, and then we're going to ask everybody to go vote. So, you can post your picture, but you can also play a fair game and go like some other people's pictures that you seem to like, and then you can invite your friends, family, etc. to come vote on you.
Whoever gets the most votes wins.
Whoever gets the most votes wins. It's a Grill of Silverback. We're sending a $100 gift card to you, and we are also, I think Grill is throwing in some pellets as well. So we're giving you everything you need to smoke your Thanksgiving turkey.
Which pellet grill is it? Silverback?
It is a Silverback.
That's the one I use.
Competition is going to run for 2 weeks. We're going to hope to ship the grill by the first week in November. So,
Heck yeah.
So is this our second grill giveaway?
second grill giveaway coming in strong.
We're going to have another one this year. Watch.
Yeah.
And another one. We'll be like Oprah, just giving stuff away left and right.
I love it though. I just like, first of all, I like to see what everybody's cooking down there. I feel like there's a lot of really delicious stuff. I've actually cooked some of, or like gone to like find how to cook some of these things that people post. And I think it's just interesting to see like how different people's Thanksgivings are, or
Yeah.
football parties or whatever,
Yeah. I like getting ideas.
Mm-hmm. Like there was a lot of
You
pizzas.
get stuck in a rut, like you're cooking the same things for Thanksgiving over and over and over.
Oh, we're having dressing and mac and cheese.
Oh,
and
yeah.
hash brown casserole and green bean casserole and turkey and ham rolls.
And some of the
What else do you need?
Some of the people that have won using pretty like interesting things depending on the topic.
Yeah.
Like a pizza, I think it was like the crawfish pizza for the football one we did was one of the winners. And I would never have thought that pizza would be a football food. But I mean, it is like you order Domino's or something, but you're not thinking of making pizza for a football game. So
Yeah.
That's true.
Pro tips from
They've
You've
got
done
it.
a-
So I've got a pizza attachment for this Primo now. I hadn't even tried it. And if I can figure that out, we're going to do some recipes for that.
Ooh, are you going to make your own dough or buy dough or?
Tennessee Mojo's got a pretty good dough recipe. It's pretty easy too.
Have you made it before?
That's like our go-to dough recipe.
I like the Chef Boyardee box dough.
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
don't like that one. It's like got a fake flavor to it.
It's easy to go, like, you can go buy dough balls at Brick Oven or
Aldi has it.
Bonsibo. Aldi has dough
Yeah.
balls?
If you go to like that little seasonal refrigerated section on the right hand
Yeah.
side, they always have dough balls there.
Oh, well, have you tried them? Are they pretty
They're
good?
pretty good. Very solid.
Yeah.
Mark's been using them
Okay.
with his pizza cooker.
I thought he was getting his at Bonsibo.
I mean, he
Tried both.
I think he cooks a lot of pizzas. So.
Well, awesome. Well, Shell, tell everybody where they can find us.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course YouTube. If you'd like,
Snapchat, hit me up.
We do have a Snapchat. I don't use it.
I started getting messages rando on it the other day. So I was like, I need to re-download this. And then it's like, no.
you've been snapping.
No, it sucks.
I did it
It's
for
my
a
least
little-
favorite platform.
I did it for a little while, like under us, and like people would add us as friends, and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and it got weird.
It does. Man, I don't.
How weird.
Oh, pretty weird. Like saw things didn't want to see. Weird. So you're welcome. I took one for the team for you on that one.
I want you to screenshot
That's why you
that.
need somebody vetting your social media because you never know what kind of messages you're going to get. I don't see them first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Mel, that's it.
Oh, you can also see us in Melbourne, Arkansas. We will be
yeah,
over there.
yeah. Swing
So,
by.
yep.
Track us down. We'll be driving around, passing out Bloody Marys, and we'll have drinks for the kids. I learned my lesson last time.
Snacks.
Snacks.
All right.
I got some honey buns.
And what time does that go off? Probably like
I think
9,
it starts
10
at
o'clock
9.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Cooper's Hawk Golf Course, Melbourne, Arkansas.
Still taking applications. $50. Come cook a burger.
Cook a burger.
I don't know what the prize money is. Do you?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Like 500, I think, maybe.
Don't quote me on it.
I need to check that.
I'm sure for only $50 to enter, it's probably pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we'll see y'all next week. We'll be back to do this all again. We gone.